This episode of the ZuLoo Pōōdcast is sponsored by ZuLoo Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at ZuLoo.com.
And actually there is, I was just looking this up the other day, and I think there is somebody that wants to go back up there and check those bags on the moon. Because, you know,
I think we need to do it. We need to do it.
Human waste has a ton of bacteria on it. So we left life on another, body in the universe. So when people say there's no life out there, yeah, we put it there.
Yeah, the moon's got life on it now, right?
Yeah. It might still be there. We'll see.
Welcome to the ZuLoo Pōōdcast, where we talk all things poop, toilets, and sanitation. Through insightful news, impact stories, and quirky humor, we aim to discuss and highlight the critical role toilets play in whisking poop out of our lives, the impact toilets have, or lack thereof, in the health and wellness of humanity, and what ZuLoo is doing to help solve the current global sanitation crisis.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the ZuLoo Pōōdcast. We're excited to have you joining in for another week, another exciting week of super awesome news and samples and interviews and confessions and possible lectures. I don't know, this podcast, we just
and hopefully
you
never know where it's going to go.
And hopefully all you menstruating viewers out there have been sending your emails to Kelsey, who will personally answer all of them.
Yes. Can you read some if you do get some? Like they'll stay anonymous, but let's just hear people's scariest menstruating stories.
Oh, please do share. I mean, there's plenty. Wow. I won't out a friend, but I will say that she had a pretty horrific bleed out in high school in English class or something. And, poor girl.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Was it geography?
Not my geography class. But if I'd been in class with her, I would have covered her, But she just had to wait until everybody left the classroom because the seats are they're just hard plastic. She bled through, and so then there was a mess on the seat.
There's no hiding it at that point.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Sad stories.
Great.
So.
Everyone send us your worst, most embarrassing menstruating stories.
We're starting this podcast off on a real high note, making you feel good about menstruation. But all jokes aside, we are really excited to have you listen in today because Darren and I had the opportunity to interview Troy Hale, who is a professor at Michigan State University and a director of the documentary Shit Saves the World. So it was a fun adventure to watch the documentary. It's available on basically every streaming platform. Yeah, I watched it on Amazon. Darren bought it on Apple Plus, I think.
Yep.
So it's out there, and we'll get to it. Before we do,
there's some links. There's some trailers on YouTube that you can watch for free. But just to get a taste.
Fun facts. He's got a Facebook page that's just
very accessible.
Very accessible, and you'll learn a lot from Troy. He really did his research.
Yeah, this is not his full-time gig. He's still a full-time professor, and it's like his, what did he call it?
Just his passion project, just his little summer. I mean, it's been, it took him a couple of years to do because it's just a side gig, but he said his summer's just been stock full with interviews and media coverage and everything with the rollout of it. So it's
and podcasts.
Yes.
Yeah. And I told Troy, I said that if ZuLoo did a documentary, it would be this. So it was I gotta watch it again tonight.
So you're off the hook. You don't have to do it.
Exactly. Well, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we're glad to have Jocelyn back.
Glad to have Jocelyn back.
So glad
Welcome
to be here.
back
This
again.
is always a blast.
And
this could be a regular thing, right, Jocelyn?
And,
I would love for this to be a regular thing. There's not many opportunities I have to really get down to the nitty gritty of menstruation with my friends. So.
Yeah,
that's right.
Here to provide that for you.
We don't just talk about poop, and it's not all about nesting. In fact, that's one of our most popular episodes. Everybody's always sending in their nesting stories.
Yeah.
If you have any nesting questions, please
send
them
those
to
my
Jocelyn.
way, please. I would love to hear improved techniques. I'm sure you guys have figured out things that I haven't.
Somebody's just lifting up the seat, wrapping it around. That's
they just bring
improved
saran
technique.
wrap wherever they go.
Yeah, that would be a great way to do it. That would take some time.
That would take some time.
toilet paper might tear.
That's commitment right there.
Exactly. But it would be thorough,
Periods.
'Cause whatever-
Kelsey, nesting, come to me.
That's right. Whatever's like on the seat that's going to get you could be under the seat,
Yeah.
So you never
Oh.
know. But yeah, nesting at ZuLoo.com. Those emails. We will get them. Menstruating at ZuLoo.com. Kelsey, and I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Well, Darren, what do you have for us in
Today,
by way of poo news, snap pulls, trivia?
before-
I never know what you're going to throw our way.
before we get into Troy's interview, we're going to test your knowledge on all
tonight's
things
trivia.
poop related. And so it's kind of a snap, maybe not a snap poll. Maybe it's just can you get the right answer?
Okay.
And some of this relates, and really all of this relates to what's in the documentary. So this isn't a spoiler alert, but this is just some statistics. Because if you watch Troy's film, it's like a fire hose of information. It's coming at you 1,000 miles an hour. And I was taking notes as fast as I could. And I'm like, I want to know more about that. I want to know about that. But so anyway, I'm just hitting some
Pre-study.
highlights just to whet your appetite. And I think after this, you'll think you're going to go watch it.
I have not seen it, so I'm excited.
Okay, it's a date night thing. Maybe your boyfriend, Christian. He wasn't a fan, but he's kind of critical when it comes to
Christian
film.
is pretty critical when it comes to film.
Yeah. So, it's probably not up to his standard, but I think it may get an Oscar. Maybe who knows?
Who knows?
But anyway, I would nominate it. But
You're a little
I'm
biased.
not a member of the Academy yet.
So maybe they'll call
Yeah.
you. So have an answer ready.
Yeah, maybe so. So this is just test your knowledge.
Okay.
Give your
Okay.
best answer.
Here we go.
How many how many hotel rooms are there in Las Vegas?
How many hotel rooms in Las Vegas?
This is in the movie.
There's
No
a
doubt.
one in there somewhere.
I'll give you. You want me to give you some?
Can you just give us a range?
Is there like
is it in the
50,000,
No.
150,000, or $1 million?
Closer to $1 million.
Yeah, I was going to say like 1.1 million. or something.
Hotel rooms. Okay, 150,000. So.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, we're way off.
How many people visit?
Okay, I guess I don't know how much $1 million
How
really
many
is.
people visit Las Vegas every year? So you think about a hotel room. Maybe there's one toilet in the
Yeah.
hotel room,
Yeah.
but how many visitors visit Las Vegas every year?
5 million.
1.3 million.
There seemed to be like at least 2 million when I was there on Halloween
Man,
last year. So
Like in the course of a year,
it was scary.
not in one particular day, but
I'm going to say 5 million. I'm
5 million?
Sticking with that.
I'm gonna just lowball it in my million.
42 million.
Whoa! I was really lowballing it.
So and they talk about this. Las Vegas has to do an excellent job trying to get rid of all that poop.
Yeah.
42 million. Because this is related. How many?
I know you didn't even think about that till now.
That's
right?
crazy.
Where's it all going?
Where does it go? Lake Mead.
I was just going to say,
Down the Colorado River to California. Send it on down.
Wow.
So this is related. How many? Okay, so what's the population of the planet like today?
7 billion.
7 billion.
7.6 million.
Oh, close. 7.7.
Oh.
Okay, so given that, how many pounds of poop do you make as a human per week?
I'm
Jocelyn?
sorry. This microphone is about to kill me.
It's coming at you.
That's
Are we
okay.
still rolling?
I just
Are
don't
we
know if
still-
I can touch it.
Oh, we're rolling.
Oh, we're rolling.
This is
Okay.
live.
This is happening,
Okay,
people.
this
This
is
is not a
happening.
drill.
Okay.
This is our makeshift table.
I can just,
Okay.
I don't
If you
mind
want
holding
to-
it. Yeah, I can hold it. No
Hold
big
it
deal.
down here at the bottom, man.
Okay.
You're good.
I
Okay,
could
sweet.
help you hold it. But yeah, by the way, viewers, you may have noticed that
We're in a new studio.
We're in a new studio.
This week. Yeah.
And we should do a shout out to Lemonade Stand.
Love lemonade stand.
Lemonade Stand,
Thank you,
awesome
Lemonade Stand.
guys and gals.
They sent me cookies once, and they were amazing.
They're
Yeah.
the best.
Yes.
Those Seuss cookies.
Yes, they're so
Love those.
cute.
yeah, they sent me a t-shirt.
I guess you only get cookies
But
if you
I
smile the
I
right
should have
way.
asked for cookies.
Yeah,
I got
ask for
cookies
cookies
and a
next time.
hoodie, you guys.
What?
Oh, I didn't get the
You got
hoodie.
both?
All
Oh,
right,
they must
well,
like you a lot.
I want a hoodie, guys.
Hoodie was nice.
But anyway, yeah, Lemonade
Anyway.
Stand are our marketing partners, and
Yeah.
we're working with them. And so this is our new studio. Hopefully they don't kick us out. Maybe we'll be here again. But anyway, new ZuLoo sign.
New ZuLoo sign. Check
It
it.
looks-
Anyway, check it out.
Fantastic.
So, what were we talking about? Oh,
Vegas
yeah.
We were talking
and
about,
food.
you were
Okay,
giving
this-
us a pop quiz.
Yeah, pop quiz. Okay, so I was asking Jocelyn before her mishap here. How many pounds of poop do you make per week?
Me personally,
Well, maybe not you personally, but the average person. I know you're a small
man
person.
or woman, because that makes a big difference.
Okay, I'm saying on average, your average human being.
Oh,
So maybe not you personally.
Maybe 10.
10 pounds of poop a week?
This isn't fair. I
Depends on
know
how-
the answer.
Well, you know the answer?
How much fiber?
Oh, that's right. You
diet?
watched the
I watched the document.
7
well,
Isn't it 6?
6
6
pounds.
pounds.
6.
Oh, you're at a disadvantage. So
Yeah, so that's not fair.
Kelsey's getting all the points.
I'll send you some
That's right.
cookies.
So what that equate? If you do some math, that means 300. So you viewer, and you guys probably half that because you're about half.
I'm a
You
3
guys-
half the
pound
size.
over.
You guys are halflings, But you average make 6 pounds a week. That's 320 pounds a year of poop.
That makes
And
it sound
that's-
like we're really accomplishing something.
Yeah.
Like, way to
Yeah.
go.
So your average over a lifetime is 25,000 pounds
Oh my
of
gosh.
poop per in average lifetime, which is 12.2 tons. One person makes that. And so, okay, right now we have 7.7 billion, and it's projected in the year 2100. So, was that
About
80
80
years from now, well, the population will be 11.2 billion people. So that's a lot of poop, right?
Wait. They're projecting that the population will grow by that much in 80 years?
In 80 years,
Why?
we'll have 11.2 billion
People like
That's
having babies.
insane.
people making more people.
I don't know, just the way you said that.
I need to know
Because
more
Roe v.
information
Wade was
about that
overturned,
because
and that's now. Oh no, I'm just kidding. We won't talk about that.
I want to fact check that one.
Um,
That's a tough one
okay,
for
so
me to
yeah, this is
swallow.
Troy Hale statistics, so we can fact check him. What's the name of Troy's cat?
Oh, I actually.
Oh, wait,
don't
is it
remember
toilet
that.
related or poop
No,
related?
it's Dusty the cat. You get to meet Dusty in the film, so it's cool. He actually showed us Dusty.
Showed up in
Over
the
his shoulder, but-
interview. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so how many people lack on planet Earth? And so this was a bigger statistic than I thought, because we always talk about it's around 3.2 billion people on the planet. Around 40% don't have access to a toilet.
Mhm.
What he was saying was, what number of people don't have access to a safe toilet? And so that's a little different, right? Because you could have access to
Because
a
there's
toilet,
a zero
but
toilet or a safe,
Safe.
like a
is that
safe place to
private?
go,
Is it
right?
like
So
2
like a lot of
billion?
our recipients, like there may be a toilet like 5 miles down the road or
Yeah.
a latrine area,
Right.
But they don't have a safe place to go.
I mean, at that point, it's a massive public toilet.
Yeah.
And so if people with nefarious intentions know that people are coming there,
Yeah.
Mhm.
then all kinds
It's
of
not
things
safe.
could happen. That would be terrifying.
Yeah. So the United Nations, this is Troy saying the United Nations 4.5 billion, which is around 58%,
Wow.
don't have access to a safe place to go.
Man.
How much of the water that's discharged into the ocean from most cities in the world are go untreated, like without a wastewater treatment plant?
A lot.
Yeah. 50%.
50%,
A lot of percent.
a lot, 90%.
What?
Jeez. A lot of percent,
A lot
right?
of percent.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
That's
percent.
Very
That's
precise.
right. Okay, so a lot of so again, Troy's documentary goes over a wide range. How many bags of poop are on the moon?
Bags of poop?
Yeah,
Are we sending bags of poop to the moon?
no, we left them there.
Yeah.
The astronauts Apollo 11
Like,
through 18, was
A
it?
scavenger hunt for the next group? Why?
Yeah.
They had to balance the weight in the spacecraft and to bring all the moon rock back.
No way.
The plan
And
apparently
so
the
they-
plan was to pack the poop back,
Yeah.
but they brought in so many moon rocks.
We
that they
took
were like-
rocks and left poop
We left-
on the moon.
Yeah, so
That
currently,
is so-
I know. We're super responsible, right?
so there's 96 bags of poop sitting up there. Right
Oh
now.
my God.
So
At what, 6 pounds each?
Probably around there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think they were about there a week. So yeah, 6 pound bags of poop up there.
I feel like we should have a retrieval mission. That seems
Yeah.
really not cool.
Yes, we want to know.
yeah, we want
to know what
ZuLoo,
they're
Bring it
like.
back.
Yeah.
ZuLoo wants to be on that space shuttle that goes up there.
Yeah, get up there and get those bags.
Yeah. Well, so the idea is that we transported life to another planet because there's bacteria in that poop, right? And it's up there.
So like it could have evolved into something
It
amazing.
could be evolved into something crazy.
We could have
that's
been the
gonna come get us,
creators
right?
of
Oh my
extraterrestrial
That is
life.
a fact that got left out of
Um,
every, I don't know.
I know. All your
modern history
elementary
class,
school.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So how many? Okay, now shifting over to France, from the moon to France.
Mhm.
How many rooms are in the Palace of Versailles?
How many bathrooms?
No,
Or
how
just
many rooms in the whole palace? Any guess?
78.
78 rooms.
103.
700 rooms.
What?
Have you been to Versailles?
I
No.
have, but I was
Okay,
13 and
700
didn't
rooms.
have a
Doesn't count.
clue.
How
Yeah,
many of
doesn't
how many of those had toilets in them?
None. One. The king. I don't know.
Exactly right. None.
Okay, none. I was right.
Wow.
And what was the issue? People would just go because there was no toilets.
Yeah.
It was like an oversight. They just go in the hall in the corners. It was like a disaster.
What?
I
Yeah.
don't know if it was there that I heard this, but
Mhm.
one reason the trains were so long for the women
Mm.
is because they would just go and then the train would kind of like, this could not, maybe some kid told me this and it stuck in my brain. So I don't know if this is true, but then the trains would like kind of sweep up behind them.
I'm taking it as fact. and
Okay,
I'm
it's real. It's true.
disgusted.
100%. But,
I think that would be a handy thing to have. You know,
but
It's
like then at
just-
the end of the day, you've just got like a collection of all of this stuff in your dress.
Ew.
I don't know why that seems like a plausible solution to
Huge.
a very disgusting way to deal with.
You guys want to hear a funny story?
Always.
When I was living in, this is like one of those public bathroom stories you wish you didn't have to live through, you know? And it's not mine, thank goodness. But when I was living on the East Coast, I went out to lunch
Let me
to
hold
a
this, or you
Taco
can-
Bell.
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
I know, Derek, take a turn. I went out to lunch with some friends at a Taco Bell, and
Are you going to share a poop story?
I
right
don't.
now?
This is a poop story. It's not my poop story though.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's mine because I was there, but
Okay,
it's
got it.
not
Okay, got it.
personal to me.
Okay.
I'd ordered and I was reserving a table, and I hear some commotion up front in the line, and all of a sudden I just see people shuffling away from each other, you know, and one gentleman just standing in the middle, and he just decided that right there in the Taco Bell line was a good place to poop his pants, and he just, you know, shook his leg and just had
What?
some things fall out of his pants, and then he just walked out of the Taco Bell.
That sounds like
Wow.
a dare. Like his friends put him up to it.
I think he was not in a good space in life by the look of him, but
Oh, that's sad, actually.
Wow.
yeah.
I did that when I
That's
was.
a
But the bathroom was like
Three.
right, you know, it was like he was gonna
Yeah.
order
Hmm.
and then just for whatever reason chose.
Gave up. Just gave
I
up.
don't know.
Yeah, maybe he had some incontinence issue or something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to. I mean, poop stand. I know. I see your daughter Gwen
Uh-huh.
do it, but standing up, it's hard work to do
It's
it that
hard.
way.
You know what? I changed one of her diapers the other day, pooped down to her toes, you guys, in her little footy pajamas.
No, it's pretty amazing
It's a
what
r-
those little tushies can accomplish.
I don't know how it happened. Literally down to her big toe.
Was it
Oh.
runny?
No. It was like a pretty
One long,
normal
pretty
consistency.
solid.
one long poop all the way down to her leg.
I mean, it was like Play-Doh texture.
that's like that long.
You know, it wasn't like it wasn't like a poop. It was like clearly
Okay.
smeared, but
Oh, okay, got it.
I don't know how it happened.
What were we talking about?
The taco.
Sorry to derail.
Well, the Taco Bell. I'm still picturing.
Versailles dresses.
Yeah.
I'm still picturing the Taco Bell. Shake a leg at Taco Bell.
That's what he was doing. Shake a leg.
And
walk away.
What happened then? Did you like stick around to see? Like, did they just rush out to clean it up, or
Well,
did they
I was
just
going to
kinda
say,
leave
did you
it?
stay and get your order? Because I'd be out of there.
I don't remember past that. I just remember being
just
so
blacked
like,
out.
what
You're traumatized.
just happened? Yeah, because it was like my first time living outside of Utah, so I'd never really lived in like a
And
different place.
You just wondered
And
if this is how they did it on the East Coast.
it's just like, I can't believe stuff like this happens. It could have happened in a Utah Taco Bell, but
Yeah.
it never has. Never
Utah
has.
Taco Bell. People aren't shaking their legs with it coming out.
Man.
A little more high class here, right?
We treat our Taco Bells with a little bit more
Mm.
respect, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that would be kind of traumatic.
Yeah. So
You're like, maybe this is how it's done.
maybe this is how
I'd,
it's done.
I'd rather wear a dress and live in the Palace of Versailles and have that experience as opposed
Yeah.
to the Taco Bell.
You wouldn't even need to shake a leg. It's just like,
Yeah, it's just out.
It's
It's
going.
done.
Did
it
Dress is
for
taking
you.
care of it for you.
Man.
yeah,
Well-
I had to shake a leg when I was 3 years old. I remember on the playground and same kind of thing, but never in a Taco Bell.
Never in a Taco Bell. And never when you were probably like, 30.
Was he was 30?
He looked probably like he was in his 30s. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it wasn't a teenager, wasn't a tween on a dare. It
He
was,
didn't laugh
it was a
and run
full grown
out.
man. Yeah.
what was great is like you were close enough to the action that you saw this, and that's a great story.
Oh, man. Yeah. Hope I don't ever have to live it again. But we should
So-
hop into Troy's interview.
Well, I was going to ask the viewers and listeners if you ever have been in a Taco Bell and you've seen a similar thing. Please let us know.
Yeah. Were
Yeah,
you
send those
there
to
in the
Darren.
Taco Bell that day?
Taco Bell at ZuLoo.com. We will get it and we'll share it. But anyway, yeah.
Let's hop into Troy's interview. Enjoy. Awesome. Troy, welcome to the ZuLoo Pōōdcast. We are
Hey.
just so excited to have you on
Hey, thank
and
you.
to geek out about your documentary.
And I love Pōōdcast. I've been saying it for like a week now. It's
I'm
great.
glad. We love it too.
there's actually I have to give credit to Kelsey for the name because we were going to call it, they were kind of call it like Pōōcast, but she had some vision of like monkeys throwing poo, and food seemed a little more appropriate. But anyway,
Nice. Very
Thanks
nice.
for the credit. Yeah, it was my one strike of genius, perhaps, with ZuLoo. But I'm glad that you like it. I'm glad it strikes a chord. So I just watched your documentary last night, and
Awesome.
I mean, I've got so many thoughts, but I just want to know right off the bat, what was the impetus for filming Shit Saves the World?
It's funny. Everybody asks me that, and I don't have a great answer for you, but I'll try. I always come up with documentary ideas, and so I've got them, and I show my documentary students. I'm like, I have all of them on my phone, and I go through those ideas, and I go, okay, this is a good idea. I want to look at this. I'm going to do some research on the internet. Has this been done before? And if it hasn't been done before, that's gold right there. So then I started going in that direction. And the original idea of this was poo to power. So we have a guy here at MSU on campus that has that does anaerobic digestion. And I said, well, that's a good first start. It doesn't cost me anything to go and talk to him. He's like 3 blocks away. So I called him up. We went over there and did an interview. He had a great sense of humor about what he did. And we just had a lot of fun doing the interview. And I go, this might work because I've got these professionals that deal with this, all these important issues, but can have a sense of humor about it too. And I think that's what really works with the film is that we could have called this film, Clean Water and the Earth and Humanity. Like we could have made this a real environmental title, but we called it what we called it to get that humor element out of it. It's kind of, I always talk about it like the Daily Show kind of thing. Here's the important topics, but we're going to give it to you in this humor form. And that just gets more of an audience to actually get that information. I don't know if I answered your question at all.
No, you did. I was just unmuting myself because I was thinking of the little boys that you interviewed in the documentary. And you're right. It just makes it a lot more palatable, right? To have a sense of humor, to be more easygoing about it, but also to connect the dots for a lot of people about sanitation, sanitation related issues, and the powerful impacts that they can have if we learn to harness those things. So I guess I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Why don't you tell our listeners about your documentary and what it's about?
It's about all kinds of things. It's really about humans' direct impact on the earth. And it's centuries old. There's nothing we can do about this. We produce waste, animals produce waste, and that waste can end up in our drinking water, and it can cause all kinds of problems, all kinds of global health issues. And so that's really the first push of the film. And then when you start diving into it, you just start finding out all these amazing things people are doing to be able to solve this problem. And I think that's one of the biggest things about the film actually is here's an environmental film that usually an environmental film kind of ends in, that's what's happening. And this one, it kind of ends with, this is what all these people are doing to solve this problem. And in a way that makes them money or makes the environment on a farm better because they're redoing all the waste of the animals and making it into water that they can use on the farm. There's just so many elements that's to this that's super interesting. Even the fact that, hey, we've only had toilets for 150 years. What did we do? But humans are a lot older than that.
Right. I mean, yeah, you pack so much details and facts into the film. That's what makes it enticing, and also it's fast paced. You aren't diving too deep. I mean, you are, but you're moving fast through so many different topics and aspects of it. And yeah, you're totally right. I mean, as far as your focus on, the technologies that are developing, obviously we have some catch-up work to do, but there are some great innovations that are coming out. And honestly, that when I watched the film, I finished watching it this morning, and it was like, this is the film that ZuLoo would film if we, thank you for doing it for us, because that's we would do it exactly the same way. You've got a great blend of humor and just a ton of just factual information that's super helpful that a lot of people have no clue about, right?
Yeah. And I mean, that was one of the things for me too, is I did television news for 8 years and a lot of serious subjects and a lot of bad news and bad things. So every once in a while for me now, it's what do I want to do that I think is going to be a lot of fun? And that's what this project was. It was just a ton of fun. I have a full-time job. I teach at a university, and this is kind of a glorified hobby for me, is to make these films. And because that's what I did as a career before this, I just can't stop telling stories. So finding a good story like this is gold.
Well, I'm curious to know, what was a story in your research or in, just producing the film that stuck out to you that you were like, kind of had this aha factor for you?
There's so many moments like that because I'm doing, when you start the film, I always talk about documentaries as a process of discovery, right? I start with this kind of idea. Originally, it was titled Poo to Power, which was about the digesters. And then just thing after thing after thing just started piling on. And every time that happened, I was like, oh, I need to do that. Oh, I need to do that. And even now I'm doing that. I'm reaching out, we're definitely trying to market the film. We're reaching out to podcasts and radio shows and newspapers and all that kind of stuff. But I also want to team up with all these organizations to say, how do I bring attention to what's going on? Because I have this opportunity now to be on your podcast. And, I have a phone call tomorrow with Ohio State, Global Water Initiative to talk to them about some kind of collaboration. And then I chatted with the Woodland Park Zoo in Seattle, and they have been doing this zoo poo project for 20 years or something like that, making fertilizer out of all the waste that comes from the animals. And it's like one of the best fertilizer. People stand in line for this fertilizer. So just be able to have this collaboration with people that are doing all these amazing things, and being able to have this opportunity to actually talk about them as well when I didn't get them in the film. And now because of all this and all these emails I'm getting and sending out, I'm like, oh, I wish that was in the film, and I wish that was in the film. But at least yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, there's so much that, like, when you start talking, especially like when you're talking about what is it? 96 bags of poop that are still sitting on the moon, right?
Yes.
Like, you could do a whole documentary about that, like, I want to find out more about that. It's like, let's go back to the moon and open those bags up.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah, for sure. And then
can we take them to Mars and grow potatoes out of it?
Yeah. And actually I was just looking this up the other day, and I think there is somebody that wants to go back up there and check those bags on the moon. Because,
I think we need to do it. We need to do it.
Human waste has a ton of bacteria on it. So we left life on another, body in the universe. So when people say there's no life out there, yeah, we put it there.
Yeah, the moon's got life on it now, right?
Yeah. It might still be there. We'll see.
Seriously.
I was shocked to learn that astronauts had released urine from the capsule and that had damaged a satellite.
It was the Mir space station.
The Mir
space station. Their solar panels were not at full capacity because it was being hit by frozen urine.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Things you just don't think about, things you learn. Also the paper being made out of elephant poo. I was like, wow, that's so unique. And how do folks come up with these things? And we had just a few weeks ago on the podcast had the opportunity to interview. His name's Kweku Anu, and he's the inventor of just a composting toilet that uses earthworms and other nature to decompose waste matter. And that was just like a stroke of genius for him as he observed the natural world. And so I see that similar thread here with other people you've interviewed. And it's like, I really love how you contrasted in the film. Waste can be a really big problem. Take a look at the, California-Mexico border and what's happening there. Or it can be a resource, but let's figure out how we can make it a really valuable resource and put our energies there.
Yeah, I love the term resource because it's the most renewable resource. We're not going to run out of it. And I think, using it as a resource, I think is amazing. It's something that when I talked to the water treatment plant manager, he was like, this could be a center for resource. It's all coming here anyway. So I love that idea for sure.
Yeah, as far as using that technology, I mean, when you point out the fact that it is an environmental awareness film, but it doesn't, like you said, most documentaries about the environment says, oh, global warming, and we're all going to die in 50 years and we're all going to burn up. And it's like, well, yeah, sure, if you keep doing what you're doing, right? But whereas we have literally under our feet, we have this resource that is renewable. And it's not like solar. I mean, if it's cloudy, you're still going to poop. If it's there's no wind, still going to poop, right? And so, especially when it relates to, I like how you point out the fact that, our modern way of living, like we're concentrated more and more in cities, like Chicago, London. And so, how those technologies that could use waste as a product to, create biogas to fuel our homes. I know like Europe right now is afraid that, okay, we're going to freeze to death this winter, right? Because Russia's shutting off our gas. And what are we going to do? Well, you probably have a ton of poop lying around that you could probably get through the winter and harness that technology and you'd be fine. It's sort of like things like that where, just, a little bit like people like you're working with in Michigan, forward thinkers, engineers. A lot of those solutions are just right there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And even, when we talk about space travel and things like that, they were talking about lining the spacecraft with human waste, and that'll protect us from some of the solar radiation as we're traveling around the galaxy.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, that was, who would have thought of that, right? And that clip in the film where you have the audio where you've got the astronauts. Hey, whose poop is that floating around the spacecraft?
Yeah.
That's pretty fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
As a spoiler alert, sorry for those who haven't watched the film, but that was, I think, a highlight for me.
Yeah, that was hard to find actually. Nowadays, I think you can find it a lot easier. I think you can find some of that stuff on YouTube. But I did a film about missing moon rocks a few years beforehand, and I have a contact in the space community who's very knowledgeable, and I had to send. I could find the transcript. The transcript's original. I can find that, but I found that audio clip and I sent it to him. I go, "Is this real?" And he goes, "Not sure." He didn't even know if it was real or not, but turns out I think it's real.
So how long did it take you to, like, from concept to thinking I got to do this film to actually rolling it out? I mean, it's over an hour long, and I mean, just tons and tons of not only factual information but content from around the world. I mean, how long did that take, and what was that process like?
Yeah, I checked my files here on the computer, and my first file is from 2017. So it's taken a long time, but also I'm a full-time, university instructor, so it's a little bit of a hobby. So if you wanted to do a film like this full-time, a year or so would probably be okay to do it. I just took my time, and also we shot almost all of it before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit. So my editor, producer, and we had a lot of time to just kind of sit and send files back and forth. So we really took our time on it. We had a couple of, what do I want to call it? Test viewings for a couple of my filmmaker friends, a couple of my creative friends. And we sat there, and they, after the film, they gave a lot of comments, and wrote 3 pages of notes. And then my producer and editor looked at it. We looked at each other and said, we got about 5 more months working on this film after we thought it was finished. And we produced that, and it was so much better than before. And then we got a sales agent, and the sales agent said, hey, your 36-minute film or your 66-minute film is really good. We need it to be 70. So we sat down and added some more to it. And even that addition, we feel so much better about the film with adding that bit of work in there. It made a lot of things work better. So it takes a while. It takes a while.
And Dusty the cat. I mean, he was my favorite character in the film. Is awesome. He around today? Is he around today?
He is. He's right there.
Awesome. Right, is he still being a little naughty, pooping outside the box?
He's gotten a little bit better. He has gotten a little bit better. I did during the pandemic, I did this professor on the road trip, and I think that taught him a little bit. So he was in a camper for a couple of months.
Okay.
But I'm surprised he's not meowing every time I'm on the computer on Zoom or something like that. He's meowing his head off. So once you said Dusty, I'm like, oh, I forgot to lock him away for this podcast.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't mess things up while you're on the show here. Yeah.
No, he'll be fine. He's dead asleep now, so he'll be fine.
Awesome.
I'm curious to know, Troy, what has been your favorite part of this process? I mean, obviously this was an idea original to you, but I imagine there was a lot of research and a lot of learning and connecting with people. So what was a part that you just found really fulfilling?
Yeah. I'm a little bit of a glutton for punishment. I actually just enjoy the process. It is, you're right. It's so much work, and it's something, I teach documentary film here at Michigan State University, and it's something that I try to get across to my students, that it is a process. You have to enjoy the process. And, I've got 90 some pages of a Word document with research on shit. And I did the same thing for my FARTA documentary, and they're just, it's you put in the work, you get out a good product. And that's something that I like about it. I'm definitely enjoying this process right now. Now that the film's out, once the film's out, you're like, a lot of the work's over. You do that kind of thing, and then you start doing the media tour, and that's a lot of work too. but it's a lot of fun right now, especially, hearing from you guys where you say, hey, I watched it last night and I like this and this and this. It's getting a lot of positive feedback, which is really nice, especially in this time of the internet where it's either I hate it or I love it. This one's getting a lot of love right now, and I appreciate that. I was ready for this is a terrible film, from some people, but I haven't gotten it yet. I'm sure I will.
Okay.
I'm sure I will.
Well, I love this. I love the like kind of the interview, like of the kids who are sitting around, because I mean, I used to work in the Boy Scouts, and that's their favorite topic, is to sit around and talk about poop and that kind of stuff. But just hearing them kind of spontaneously talk about it and laugh was great.
Well, and that was part of it, part of that humor aspect. I need people to talk about it like that, and who's going to talk about it? But kids, kids will talk about it really, really easily. Even when I was saying that everybody that I talk to, from biodigesters to people that are making water out of it to whatever, they have a good sense of humor about it, but they will hesitate to say the word. They'll kind of, and once they see the kids doing it, then they're a little bit more free about doing that, and then we have a lot of fun with it. And I think that's what helped make this film the way it is the comedy and the seriousness and all that. So.
Yeah, I think you strike a perfect balance between the two. It's super well done.
Thank you.
Awesome. So what do you as far as now that you have it finished? Do you have any plans? I mean, as far as getting the word out, I guess you're coming on. Obviously, we're grateful to have you on the show. We'll let our listeners know about it, encourage them to go find it. But what do you? How do you go about promoting it now? Or you just let it organically get out there, or how do you?
A lot of emails every day, sending out to, and I'm discovering all these new organizations like you guys. I was looking up things. I'm like, oh, this is neat, and I started listening to a bunch of podcasts. I'm like, oh, this is really cool podcast. So I get to discover all these things as well. So a lot of emailing. Getting on Instagram and learning how to do Instagram and making little videos. And I'm surprised that some of the videos are getting 5,000 plays, little 20-second video, about the film, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. We've got our website, shitsavestheworld.com, and that's getting a lot of traffic. So all those kind of things, responding to emails coming in every day. I'm so happy that I'm not teaching until September, because I'm taking a lot of my summer break is not vacation. It's doing all this work, but it's nice that I have time to do it. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this process.
Well, we're glad there's people like you out there that have the talent and the ability, and you're a little quirky as well. You like talking about shit and toilets, and not everybody's that way. I mean, it's becoming more and more that way, but some people, my wife always is telling me, why don't you do something else? Why don't you, this is not, I don't like to talk to my friends about this, but we're glad you have a passion for it.
Well, it's good I like talking about things that people don't normally talk about. And I think this is a perfect case for it, because once you flush the toilet, people forget about it. And I think having something like you guys' podcast, having something like the film, gets people thinking about that and saying, wow, there is a huge process to this. And it is something to think about and to worry about for the future, and to, see what these incredible people are doing to solve the problem. When we watch Star Trek, we never think about, all those people on the Starship Enterprise and what they're doing with the human waste. That's never addressed, but it's something to think about and go, wow, yeah, what do we do with that, with a huge space station?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I watch Star Wars, and I'm like, man, they have not pooped this entire movie. I can't, when are they going to hold on a second, let me put my lightsaber down and, go do my business. Right. But
yeah, there's got to be something on the Death Star, right? There's got to be a little holodeck that sort of vaporizes it, or maybe they turn it into a weapon. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, there's got to be something to do with that. Yeah.
Well, there's got to be something to drive those spaceships, right? That maybe they just pipe it right into It's like Back to the Future, right? I always like that scene where they're like taking the garbage, going through the garbage and throwing it in the back of the DeLorean and, firing it up. It's like that's our future, right?
Yeah, the Mr. Coffee. And you know what? It's funny that you do say that about the engines, because it is. I was just watching some stuff. I'm a big space nerd, so I was watching something, an old History Channel show, and they were talking about, we can't get to other galaxies because we haven't built the engines good enough to be able to travel at warp speed and those kind of things. And maybe they should be looking at poop. Maybe they should be looking at that as that would solve two very large problems.
It's the final frontier, is it not?
Yep.
The final frontier. That needs to be the sequel to Shit Saves the World. It needs to be, we'll let you come up with the title, but it's got to be something for the future, right? Because you do a great job at painting the past, wherever we've been and where we are now. But yeah, we need to go back to the moon and open those bags up. Yeah. If you want to do a documentary, we'll try to get Elon Musk behind it, and we'll
there you go.
We'll take a ship up there and see it.
There you go. Yeah, maybe he hasn't thought about this yet.
Yeah, we'll put Kelsey in the spaceship. She's a little smaller, so she can probably fit in the spacesuit a little better. But
yeah, I don't know if I told you guys this yet, but they did have the space poop challenge, and that's really interesting if you look that up on NASA. So
yeah, you touched on it for like maybe a minute in the show, and I'm like, oh man, I've got to go dive into that a little deeper.
Yeah, that was super interesting
for sure. Yeah.
Love
awesome.
It. Well, Troy, thank you so much for joining us. I'm just so elated that an idea has led you to the beautiful community of sanitation, because it seems like there's a really good rabbit hole that maybe you've gone down since definitely filming, and it is a really large community. I know, just stepping into the world of ZuLoo, my eyes were open to how big of an issue it is, but also how many people actually care about it. And there are so many people willing to talk about it. Just like Darren was saying, so many more who are becoming open to that idea. So going to piggyback off of Darren's comment. Thank you for opening that door a little bit more for just the general public. It's really difficult to broach this subject with them, but a documentary that is palatable, that is accessible, you've made it so accessible, definitely helps to even get that message out there and help mankind, right? Do good in the world and continue to progress. So thank you for doing that. Thanks for being here on the podcast with us.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And keep up the great job on the Pōōdcast.
Thank you. Well, we'll hope to stay in touch in the future, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks, Troy.
No problem.
Okay. Troy.
Well, that guy is like a fire hose of information.
He just knows it all. I mean, I need to take a lesson from him. I thought I knew some stuff about wash and sanitation, but let me see. I have a lot more learning to do.
Well, it's fascinating just how much information he packs into an hour. I mean, I couldn't take notes fast enough.
Yeah. What were some of the things that you really wanted to look up, after the fact?
Well, I'm going to the moon, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to be, we're going to call Elon Musk and say, hey, this is Mars. There's no poop up there that we know of, but there's poop up on the moon. So we gotta go check that out.
I'm expecting you to go grab all that stuff and bring it back.
For science, science demands it.
Absolutely.
We've got to find out what's going on in there. And maybe Matt Damon could go with us and we could grow some potatoes, with it. The possibilities are endless. I liked about Troy, especially how he, toward the end of the documentary, and also we're talking about some of the solutions that some of the companies that he's working with are coming up with. Because we talk about the population and we talk about, how much, millions of pounds of poop you're making and we're all making, but, they're taking that and turning it into a resource that really, you talk about shit saves the planet. It's a lot of those solutions I'm just thinking of just biogas by itself, right? You harness all that, all that energy and it really could be a solution to a lot of our problems,
Yeah.
right?
I'm hoping that by the time there's 11 point whatever billion people on this planet,
Mm-hmm.
that they look back at us and be like, wait, you didn't use your poop for
Yeah, that'd be
like
amazing.
powering your homes?
For
Duh,
sure.
Yeah.
That's so obvious.
Yeah, you didn't
Really,
put it in your gas tank. Or,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
you didn't power your Starship with it.
It does kind of seem like
Yeah.
an obvious, this is a resource that's never going to go away. It's
Yep.
super sustainable. How do we, maximize
Utilize
the heck
that.
out of this thing?
I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to drill for it. It's just
Right.
laying around. So use that stuff.
People will freely shake a leg to give it to you.
You can go to Taco Bell and get it. Apparently.
Taco Bell will give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Well, before we go, I wanted to talk about this product, Refresh. And there's a couple of them out there. One's,
Yeah. I have one.
I'm actually pretty excited about this. This is cool.
this is Body Fresh. And we've actually talked to these guys before. This was developed, I'm not sure about Refresh, but Body Fresh was developed by a nurse in Florida that she saw that as an issue, keeping her patients, like she took care of a lot of patients, and toilet paper just doesn't do the job. And oftentimes, especially in America, we don't have bidets, and so. But this is a great option, especially if you travel a lot. I mean, I take this with me whenever I travel because I don't have a bidet handy, and so. But what's cool about it is it puts a foam on top of the paper. I've seen other products where you just spray it and basically you're just getting it wet,
Yeah.
it just starts falling apart. It's like, but this puts a little foam and different scents as well, and it's hypoallergenic. And anyway,
this is a very, very cool idea because
Very
toilet paper it can do some things, but it can't do all things.
right?
Yeah.
And when it hasn't performed up to expectation.
Yes.
And so something like this that you can take with you and have it just be really discreet in your purse, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's better than a
Agreed.
wet wipe because a wet wipe they do not
not
do not
flushable.
break down,
Yeah.
despite what they say.
Doesn't
They're-
matter.
They
It does
don't.
say plumber approved on there, but I've heard that's not true.
Yeah,
It's not.
they just paid some plumber to say it. But anyway, I mean,
Good plug
if you're
for a
thinking
good
of
new product.
new products out there, we'd recommend you try it out. But
Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. Hope you enjoyed Troy's interview. Hope you enjoyed our chit chat about it. Go watch the documentary. Like we said, we'll link it in the show notes, but it's basically available on every streaming platform. So we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the ZuLoo Pōōdcast. Follow us on social media at our links in the show notes below. To learn more, visit our website, ZuLoo.org. If you liked the podcast, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. For even more ZuLoo fun, send us an email with your toilet stories to podcast@zuloo.com for a chance to be featured on the podcast. This episode of the ZuLoo Pōōdcast is sponsored by ZuLoo Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at ZuLoo.com.